For more on those earnings from Starbucks, let's go straight to Franklin Chu. He's the managing director of Azoya and an expert in Chinese retail. Good to see you, sir. Let me start with those numbers that John was talking about. Starbucks in China sales are down 44%, and some people might think it's a typo, but that's a real number. What's going on?
Well, that's a very dramatic decline, but not so surprising considering the shutdown that China, and particularly the Tier 1 city, Shanghai, where Starbucks has a very strong, large concentration of stores, have been in a position where they haven't been able to operate under normal business conditions. So the numbers are, while very dramatic, not totally unexpected.
So in other words, we can consider it an anomaly, if you will, given the extenuating circumstances. If you're advising Starbucks as to how to manage this uncertain Chinese operation, what would you tell them?
Well, they're still officially still holding on to their target of rapid expansion, of opening new stores for the balance of 2022. Given where we are to date, they may want to look closely and maybe reconsider the pace of that planned expansion for the balance of the year until the situation with COVID and overall recovery becomes a little clearer.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not just Starbucks. When a city is in lockdown or there are restrictions, it obviously impacts everyone equally. So it's not like Starbucks is being singled out necessarily, but it does make it very difficult for the company to, I suppose, plan and manage, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, they have suspended overall guidance for the balance of the year, and that's understandable given the many uncertainties, especially in China, for the next 2 quarters. But I think if you look a little bit longer term, the company still has to reinvest in China. I mean, it is such an important market for the company overall that they need to leverage that recovery when it eventually gets there. And so I think they need to continue to maintain a cautious but still ambitious plan in China going forward.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that Starbucks has the valuation it has is because of the optimism in China, and they've made a huge investment in that country, and a huge part of their earnings come from China. So they're very much married and tied to the hip in terms of the economic recovery that's going to take place in China. Do you think that for the leaders at Starbucks, they look at China and sometimes they think to themselves, how do we maximize this recovery? And is there a particular model that works when you look at reopening all those stores that have been temporarily shut down?
Well, I think what they can do, certainly for the next quarter, 2 quarters, is to maybe emphasize some more their online business so that it can contribute a little bit more to help the offline business. And they need to stop making what I would call unforced errors in their China business. I'm referring to some unfortunate incidents during the past year regarding food safety and expired ingredients and customer service. So certainly that is within their control. Some of the more macro issues are not in their control, and they just need to be patient and be in a position to benefit when the recovery happens.
Yeah, on the earnings call with Starbucks, the issue of supply chain was brought up, as it has been with everybody, and it seems to me that they are managing it. I'll use the word relatively well, because it doesn't seem like that's a major issue for Starbucks. So that's not the issue in particular with China.
Well, to the extent that they're managing it as well as they have, I think it's a credit to their regional management, because we know that in my own business, supply chain, logistics, shipping anything to China, it has been a very problematic issue, and it's resulted in a lot of delays and extra expenses. So that's something that that they have some influence over, and they seem to be doing a credible job on that.
Yeah, no question. It has been a challenging last couple of years. Franklin, really appreciate the insight there. Managing Director, Azoya, expert on Chinese retail. joining us from China.